Hello everyone and welcome again to this episode of the Committee Reads. I am your host KWCs and with me today I have Greyshot 151, GVR, Nagoda, and Ultimate Ditto. And today we will be reading Match 155, Black Moth vs. Maguma by Andrew Sudomersky. That name sounds familiar for some reason. I don't know why.
He needs to learn how to write shorter paragraphs.
She has been on the hunt for several months. Isn't that a great opener? Black Moth soars over the vast ocean, following her intellect in the familiar stench of a traitorous bastard. Implanted with the mind of the Black Shark's former captain, Kroiga, the memories circulated to her conscious, although foggy. That's a little weirdly said, but no, right? She recalls her awakening, but cannot remember what she did. A savagery inside her awoke, and it sought bloodshed. The only clear memory she had was the image of the good doctor and his smug grin. Chaos ensued, and he disappeared with a specially made serum. Even in her muddled state, if there was anything Kroiga knew, it was that Malik was a step ahead of the rest. And after all these years, she will finally put a stop to it. Oh gosh, well... On the horizon, her observant eyes picked up the shape. To the outside world, it was merely another desolate island a few organisms would inhabit. She knew better. When one base of operation was decimated and invaded, there was another to take its place. Having known Malik for a time, she knew the basic blueprints to his facilities. But she also knows that for each new base, there were always improvements to protect them from external threats. The specifics, however, were still hazy. Knowing this, she pauses in mid-flight and descends to the ocean's surface. With her paw, she splashes the water until she finds a disturbance in the air as liquid sizzles against the external barrier. Both the aching soul and the Malian corpse groaned, and the reader, denied of the easy access to revenge against their traitorous creator. Vaguely, she recalled a memory with him of this new device, an electronic barrier that would give any external forces, EDF, G-Force, UN, or otherwise, a hard time getting in. With the body of Black Moth, Kroiga knew she could penetrate the electronic barrier, but it would be a painful dilemma. Flapping back, she prepares to charge directly into the barrier, and passes right through it. Her eyes widen both shock and fear. I would say more shock than fear, but whatever. Under her breath, she growls a curse. The electric barrier rematerializes behind her and comes to the realization that he has his eye on her. Between her and the madman's lair, her moistened, reanimated nose senses an unfamiliar presence. Good grief. Kaiju of the past, I'm gonna kill you. That is an exaggeration, ladies and gentlemen. People who are doing manual review knows I cannot die because this is my project. So, let's see. Here the madman. Yeah. Beneath the water's surface, her sight detects a wavy silhouette soaring right toward her. Like a shark, the beast's saber-toothed tusk and maw opened wide and lunges out at her. Barely avoiding the surprise attack, Black Moth ascends as the walrus monster collapses into the water's embrace. The crashing water burns and sizzles against the electronic perimeter as the winged lion dashes straight toward the island. Kroiga knew that she was in this monster's home turf, and that she would need to lure the beast inland to stand a fighting chance. She glances behind to see that the waves have quieted and the monster is nowhere in sight. Gosh darn it, KWCs, I'm gonna... Figuring another surprise attack from beneath, Black Moth ascends to an altitude equal to that of the peak of the higher mountains. Yet in either a miscalculation or Malik's manipulation at work, the aerial monster is electrocuted by the protective barrier and spirals out of control. She tries in vain to keep stability, but the sea monster leaps from the salty ocean and sinks one of his teeth on one of her hind legs. Both titan to plunge into the oceanic world below and slam against the ocean floor. and thanks to the serum, she is like that of a kaiju, nigh indestructible even against various kinds of deadly force. But that does not make her immune to pain. Black Moth howls are silenced by a rush of water down her revived throat as Maguma gnaws on her foot. With only a limited time available before potentially drowning, Black Moth unsheathes her hind claws, their talons, in an attempt to free herself. Her free limb slashes against the tough, fatty hide of the brown walrus. Her trapped limb, however, does the job better by cutting away the inside of Maguma's mouth. Bleeding from the wounds, the aquatic mammal lets her free as red blood paints the underwater sky. With a quick retreat to the surface, the soaked winged animal hacks and coughs out water to clear her esophagus and lungs. For a brief moment, she sees the water stained with red, making a swift approach. Rising from the ocean, Maguma bloodied mouth gives the impression of a savage beast thirsty for violence. It didn't take a military tactician or a rocket scientist to figure out that the island's guard dog is under Malik's influence. I don't know why that would need those two specifically, but whatever. Flapping her soggy wings, Black Moth hisses and prowls. The walrus beast responds in kind, as the two have a standoff. Deep in Kroiga's consciousness, something woke up, a primal rage that desired the role of a lethal hunter, one who sought bloodshed. She knew this instinct, but was unwilling to give in to the will of savagery. Though her only meaning in this new life is to exact revenge on the traitor, she couldn't allow this inner monster to take control. But even human willpower can only achieve so much. For a brief moment, Kroiga, no, the beast, lunges forth and unsheathes her claws. The blubbery mammal responds in kind by charging straight at Black Moth. Their bodies collide against one another, tumbling along the shoreline, clawing and gnashing teeth on their flesh. When Maguma took control of their tussle, he bumps and slashes her with his tusks as the winged feline tries its best to hold them off. By way of luck and will, Kroiga's inner human forcefully repossesses the patchwork body, jabbing the brown walrus and repels him, if only for a brief moment. Not wanting to risk sparring the Goliath, Kroiga retreats further inland with Maguma in pursuit. She investigates the terrain around her and laying low in the foggy swampland. Having lost Malik's scent during her conflict, she could not directly pinpoint the location of the smug snake. Nevertheless, she will find him. Thank you for assuring that the story, not that she would find him, but that she will. It is a matter of time. It is just a matter of time. Her body aches with the ravenous savagery, with the wounds to prove it. Only through her human will is she able to persevere. The paws collect dirty mush as she tracks through the territory. Her auditory senses pick up commotion. Not much to her surprise, groups of bat people, genetic hybrids who are slaves to Malik's will, flock out of decaying trees and lowland caves. Like parasites, they bury into Black Moth's fur, feathers, and cuts, and feast on their flesh and blood, savoring each bite. Snatching one of the fiends with her paws, Black Moth inspects the Batman thoroughly. For every humanoid rodent created, Malik was always there to guide, brainwash, and discipline it in his ways. A final whiff from the panicking mammal, and she was able to trace his scent again, but very faint, much to her dismay. Shaking the cretins from her body, Black Moth flaps her wings. They haven't fully dried yet, so she's in no condition for flight. Several meters behind him, Maguma mows the trees and swampland. She has no time to rest. First is Malik, then she will be sure to do something to dispose of her pursuer. Among the wall of television screens, surveillance cameras monitor activity throughout the island. Most only have his servants performing the mundane tasks he set them to do, but only 2 of the monitors contain content worth the time to watch. In one, the winged mammal flaps its wet wings, scaling the rugged mountain with bare claws. In the other, his loyal pawn continues the pursuit to extermination. Sitting at his desk, the one that only great luxury can buy, he keenly observes what is transpiring. Oh my gosh, finally his suffering can end. Finally dressed in his former white Navy uniform, embedded with golden crest to represent his mark as a captain in days of old, Dr. Malik found a great sense of satisfaction with the arrival of his pawn/creation. I cannot believe that is actually in there. It was inevitable that she would come find him, to slay him. Hidden under his stoic facade, a giddy feeling came with childlike excitement. He knew why, and he loved entertaining the thought of it, because it has to be done. Pass.
Malik's greatest plan of all was in motion. Once again, Kroiga was his pawn. But in the aftermath of his laughter, a bitter taste filled his mouth and heart. He also knew what this feeling was. Loose water and minimal blood drops were the only trail she left in her wake as she scaled the massive body of rock, gravel, and dirt. The wounds inflicted upon her here have mostly become scabs against her, with some exceptions, and she was still being pursued. Damn it all, it's still at it, she would have thought. She would have gone on to planning and strategizing professionally, knowing its objective and purpose. If only she were fully human. Speech and organized thought slowly fade from her human consciousness, becoming part of a mixture with the primordial beast. Had this been several months ago, this wouldn't be an issue. Her will would have controlled this vessel alone. Now there was something else with her. Are they spirits of the original animal hosts for this Frankenstein monster? Or is this a byproduct of the serum Malik had developed? Thoughts became fuzzy. Trying to preserve, she inhaled the crisp mountain air with her nostrils and began to descend to the island's heart. She tried to focus on her main goal. The past and present dissolved ever so slowly, but the image of Dr. Malik's smug grin stood strong among the rest of her memories. Her fury and the fury of the beast began to swell in her mind. Reality has ways of ensuring that it is present, and that came in the form of echoing howl from the mountain's peak. The moment she turned around to see her nemesis, he was already closing in. Although unintentional, the mammoth-toothed walking seahorse...
No, I think that is a real term. A seahorse, like walruses, I think are referred to as seahorses or something like that.
They may be referred, but now I'm just imagining a giant seahorse.
With a...
Kendricks, that might be an official term, but don't use it.
Yeah, it's like, I could use X, but that doesn't mean you should use it.
I can use icky, but that doesn't mean I should.
It's very true. Rolling along the slopes, Maguma's mass slammed against the lion beast, and they both tumbled down. The rest of the mountain... down the rest of the mountain. Kaiju bones have a great capacity of not being broken easily, much like their skin, almost regardless of how much force is applied. Even in combat against other monsters, the skeleton can remain resilient against crushing blows. So when the two titans came to a halt by level ground, it came as no surprise that they raised their feet without broken bones. Instead, sensory nerves shot with pain and embedded stones in their flesh would have to suffice. On the land they stood, they were barricaded all over. Massive mountain slopes looked as if it would take an eternity to climb out of. A crater of acidic chemical compounds which gave off a haze that would have seemed to be a one-story structure, like that of a science research institute. The moment Kroiga's eyes locked onto the building, she flew into a beastly haste and ignored Maguma. Security cameras and a pair of armed guards with gas masks verify that he is here. As the men dash into the structure, Kroiga strikes with her claws. But it's all for naught, as the forelimb fries upon contact with the electric barrier, much like the one that vanguards the entire island. Only for a moment can she curse under her breath for her and the beast's hastiness, when Maguma takes full advantage and rams his head into her and pins her against the electric barrier. Searing and electrocuting her flesh, fur, and feathers, Black Moth and Kroiga scream in unison as agony shoots throughout the nervous system. Her wings, limbs, and spine begin to grow numb and weary as Maguma ruthlessly presses on. With minutes, maybe less than that, Black Moth's smoldering corpse would be fried and Kroiga's soul and conscience would wither into nothingness. Maguma's mistake was that he kept pushing. Masses of the Kaiju forced the electro barrier to expand and open it, squeezing both heathens through. Although all his beasts endured the electric barrier as they passed through, both creatures slipped through and crashed into the first floor of Malik's headquarters. The moment Kroiga's humanity could not hold her own, the beast took over. Blackened with the ashes of the newfound scars and flesh wounds, Black Moth did not hesitate to lunge at the Kaiju mammal. They greeted each other with savage claws, teeth-beating wings, and tusks, occasionally bumping into the borders that seared their flesh and added to insult to injury. Though the pride of the beast was strong, the vessel that carried two essences was soon to expire. Its consciousness weakly woke up to blurry vision and a dominant spirit taking action. Its willpower could not take back the host of revenge, so it slipped back into a state of unconsciousness. Memories, sound, sight, auditory senses, all of them began to fade into the heart of the beast. Life flashed before its eyes once born, knowing the experience of death. Like a specter, it could merely observe.
Pass.
Oh, pass. Oh
Bruh.
my god, I saw that paragraph and I was so terrified. Good luck.
This entire match is a Brett moment. And this, why do I get this? Okay. The intellect and understanding as an officer, no, as a human being, has mostly faded. Any semblance of human dignity is gone, only left with humankind's more primitive and instinctual nature. The drone that is now her spirit witnessed the life of a young woman who was assassinated too early. So the innocence of infancy tore asunder by violent screams of hatred, burning with the eyes of red dragons. Somehow it felt the young girl's pain when she was beaten by her parents and local bullies. In the world of the unconscious, time skipped ahead. Hazy memories indicate that the woman, now out of school, joined the one of the branches of anti-kaiju forces. The one of the branches,
Oh,
huh?
yeah, the one of the branches, yes.
It did not grasp this part of her memories, but it did recognize a face. One that had the primitive mind bore a vast grudge against. One that had the primitive mind bore a vast grudge against. Kaiju X. Andrew.
Gray shot. How did you not proofread this?
Don't.
That's a question I'm asking myself now, and I'm pretty sure I was like, it's Kaiju X, he's a good writer.
Yeah, you gave me too much benefit of the doubt. I was adamant. I was like, please, make sure you edit this, because I want it to be good. I don't know what I'm doing.
Past Ray Shot was unavailable.
I'll be honest, past Gray Shot when the first was very much he kind of skimmed read, and when you try skim reading this.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Damn it, folks. Yikes.
Yeah. But the woman did not feel that way. He was an older gentleman who served in the forces for over a decade, maybe even more. Out of the blue, a name came to the drone's mind. Hastings? It sounded vaguely familiar, but it did not know. The woman befriended the man, yet the details remained muddled of their relationship. In the future, the man loved the woman and the woman loved the man. But it did not last long. Soon another man who bore extreme similarities to her lover came to her. He did not bear kinship with his brethren of war and violence. The politics, the mistakes of man, all of this urged him to follow on a dream he had as a child. Together, the two began gathering people for their crusade. They would bestow their wills upon various nations and will fight back. But it all came back to why it hated the man. First the bullet to the heart by an unknown force, then awaken as a hideous beast. The essence of the woman hated the man now, much like how it hated the man. When he slipped under her paws, escaping death, as she had the unfortunate bout of encountering their opponents, who were at one point her allies. He betrayed her, used her as a means to an end. She felt like a fool and insulted on her honor. Now she would have revenge, or would she? For the last time she and it saw him, there was a twinkle in his eyes, like those of her former lover. For the people at home, that was all one paragraph.
Oh, yeah, that was one paragraph. Yep.
Everything I just read was one paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Churning at the bottomless chasm, a white light brilliantly illuminated the darkness. It was consumed by the white light, allowing it and her to become one. Her consciousness began to wake up, staring at the face of a charred and bloodied combatant. By her own willpower and assertion, she took over the vessel that was hers to begin with. Sentience and humanity struck the gelatinous orbs. Oh, Kaiju X. Pouring crimson streaks from her face. Kaiju X.
Oh.
Gelatinous orbs.
Yeah, gelatinous orbs. Don't you like it? Orbs.
Reading Tom there, were you?
Yeah. I think I may have been reading Tom. More specifically, 150 Tom.
Sentience and humanity struck the gelatinous ball.
Godzilla versus Grand King Ghidorah, Tom, specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
At least
orbs.
The beast, Black Moth, had been in combat with Maguma for a long time, but growing weary faster than the behemoth. Several layers below them had been destroyed, but not enough to reach Malik's personal domain. Given her conditions, she knew that there would be no way in hell she could finish off the monster. but she was where she needed to be, striking down at the ground, claws unsheathed. Not unsheathed, just unsheathed. She began to burrow through the Mad Doctor's lair. Hey, Black Moth doesn't have burrowing ability.
She has claws, it's fine.
In spite of the expenses it would cause, the influence of Malik told the great beast to stay put. The electronic shield that acts as the arena's borders dissipates, and Maguma waits. Mercilessly, Kroiga claws deeper into the realm of Dr. Malik's home base. He was waiting for her, and she knew it. Once she finds him, his death will be immediate. There will be no monologue to share, no unveiling of some super weapon, no plea for forgiveness, just an act of bloodshed that will end the lives of unredeemable criminals. This match is making my brain shut down.
That's fine, man. No, it's... Oh, boy.
Many layers of the base have been destroyed, but it feels as if the downward crawl into Earth was truly endless. Soon, Kroiga and Black Moth would realize that was not the case. Crippling the last layer of its foundation, the mammalian kaiju began to fall into a blackened pit of emptiness. Is emptiness spelt wrong?
It's spelled right. It's spelled right. It's spelled right. It's with everything else, it's madness.
The vast chasm of this underground chamber dwarfed any kaiju known to man, except Megiddo, but she didn't exist.
Yeah!
So Kroiga found herself spreading her wings out and flapping to sustain balance. It would seem that there would be no ground to find, but she was wrong. A rough landing caused her to stumble upon impact, but she found her ground and began the hunt for the man who broke her heart. The core of the entire headquarters was something unorthodox. It's elaborate, with nice, smooth, and rounded walls that have no corners.
It is elaborate.
Reinforced with the... Yeah. Well, no, it is elaborate is the right word, but that still reads terribly.
Oh, yeah, no, it reads terribly. No.
Reinforced with a composite mixture of steel, iron, and the aptly named space titanium, all from the black market, the underground layer held its own against the hellish pressures that exerted on the structure. Okay, you can just get space titanium on the black market, sure. It was like that of a womb, one that bore something worthy of awe and is equally terrifying. The room was draped in darkness with very little sources of light to conceal Malik's grand master project. His plan mattered little to her. Kroiga would kill him, bringing a halt to whatever monstrosity he plans to release. In front of many monitors, Malik surveys the situation. Black Moth, who harbors Kroiga's thirst for vengeance, seeks his body to mutilate it. Her ferocity, which at one point excited him, now frightens him. A wave of uncertainty has led to anxiety and stress, now doubting whether he himself will be able to survive. Pass.
Okay, good, I'm out. Maybe I'm not as much of a magnificent bastard as I made myself out to be, he muttered to himself out loud. He pulled at his collar of his uniform.
Hold on, reading TV tropes there, Kaiju X?
Yeah.
He pulled at his collar of his uniform and took in a quick sample of crisp winds from the air conditioners. He needed to relax, because to perfect his ultimate goal, he needs Kroiga. To obtain Kroiga, he has to be in the front lines of her fury. It was either all or nothing for him. After meditating and debating with his inner self, he cast aside old doubts and began to exit the safety of his quarters. As he steps out to the womb room and onto the protruding deck, cloaked in darkness, Malik sees the savage creation he wrought. She seems so graceful, yet hideous. She snaps her attention directly at him, with scent, and lunges right for him. His heart thrums faster in his chest, and pulls out an APCL-25 walkie-talkie and orders, "Now!" In an instant, a miniaturized electric sphere forms around Malik's balcony, allowing the shield to perform its duty. Black Moth repels from the artificial wall, hissing at him with rage and frustration. "Did you think I wouldn't anticipate this, dear?" he began. "Of all people, I thought you would have thought twice about before taking my life. Then again, the serum should have amplified the primal nature that is inside each one of us. Malik grins with satisfaction and twirls his mustache. His mustache?
Yeah, he does. It's not that exaggerated, though.
Tell me, did it work? The beast did not speak, but the mind understood. Kroga did not respond to the man's question. Indeed, his serum did have that side effect, but she will not be his pawn. He mockingly responds with, "Not going to tell me? Fine." Then speaks into his APCL-25 with orders, "Turn on all the lights." The womb lit up with illuminating brightness. Everything became visible to the naked eye. All the facilities, generators, balconies, elevators, and stairways that enabled transition between the different areas. But most frightening of all lay at the core of the chamber. A preserved corpse layered with icicles, pinned with IVs, and being injected with the serum. Its mythical presence was otherworldly and majestic, a devil of its time. 8 serpentine heads dangled loosely, as if dead, and its crimson scales coated with pure white frost. Every man, animal, and kaiju of the world would gawk at its presence. Black Moth and Kroga were no exception to this. Only then did vengeance and primal fury transmogrify into genuine fear and insignificance. Malik uttered words of mockery and prayer. Malik uttered words of mockery, but Kroga did not hear him over the screams of fear running rampant within her consciousness. For the first time since her human childhood, she began to retreat. The beast within could only comply with Kroga's terms, and as the winged mammal took flight through the entrance that brought her down here, she had to get the EDF, G-Force, AMF, whatever force that would allow her into the oblivion of Malik's lair. That would follow her into the oblivion of Malik's lair, or else the entire world would go to hell.
And how is she
Maguma.
How is she gonna talk to them? Roar,
Yeah.
roar, 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 roar.
Yeah, she couldn't even tell Dr. Malik if the thing worked. How is she expected to friggin'? Oh my gosh.
Kaiju. Yeah, what is she gonna tap out Morse code? Hey,
Yeah,
large
that's the only thing she
dragon.
could do. Tap out Morse code.
She's gonna be slamming her paw into the ground in Morse code, and they're gonna be trying to shoot at her because they think she's trying to attack them.
Yeah.
Maguma had been in a daze since his last orders. Stay put. Next time you see it, let it fly away. Malik's plan was to have Black Moth be something of his messenger to the outside world. How is that gonna work?
Malik's just like, yes, I'm a genius. This creature that can't talk will be.
One that would lure his pursuers to his secret island, so that he may eliminate the forces in one fell swoop, and hold the rest of the world at gunpoint with the majesty of the 8-headed devil. Of course, this was not a plan that Maguma's primitive mind would understand. Jet helicopters, borrowed tech from the infamous Doctor Who, flew overhead and began to descend. Full knowing that it would be unable to climb out of the pit, Malik had requested several jet helicopters to pick up and relocate the blubbery, chocolate-colored animal to the outer ocean.
Chocolate.
Pass.
There's a lot to unpack, which is the past few sentences. Kaiju
Yeah.
was hungry when he was writing this.
Okay. Scientists in the field of studying kaiju, kaijuologists, always found one key aspect of the kaiju puzzling. Whether it would be a more complex or outright alien life form such as Hedera, or the simple-minded Kamakuras or Ebra. All beasts had the capacity of strong will. In of any instance, modern human experiments tried to control and order them around, most of the results faltered. Even for the few that succeeded, it was only temporary, like a Deus Ex Machina. Okay.
Well,
Treat.
Kaiju like self-aware.
And
Because a Deus Ex Machina is a plot device where it's just something comes out of nowhere to fix the plot,
Yeah.
to fix the
Guys.
story.
So a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
MacGuffin.
Most of the time, I'm a MacGuffin, but it's like just a thing that situates the plot. In this case, Maguma breaking free of his control. Oh my god.
Kaiju were able to break free of their oppressor's strings and go about following its instincts, only with the exception of extraterrestrials and people from the future. So when the jet helicopters began to drop their claws to list the colossal sea monster, Maguma snapped from his mind-controlled state and perceived the descending shell grips as a threat. Even with scars and injuries that have weakened him, Maguma still has strength. Gnashing the arms with his bare teeth, he brought down some of the jet helicopters by sheer force alone, leading them to their demise on a mountainous slope and in an acidic lake. The others retrieved their hands into the copters' bodies and radioed Malik of their current situation.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Maguma just breaks out of mind control out of nowhere.
Yep. Like a Deus
my
Ex
God.
Machina.
Pray tell, how is Malik intending
Don't
on
you know?
controlling Orochi if he can't keep Maguma?
Yep.
We'll see. Words came darting through her mind. Stupid, 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 stupid. She didn't realize, and a wave of shame followed. Kroiga was followed by... No, Kroiga caught up in the moment to exact her vengeance, but only turned out that it was all part of Malik's scheme. Not to capture her, but break her. In nightmares past, the child who was tormented by words of hatred always saw a red dragon lurking in their eyes and mouths. That very same beast haunted her in her sleep. Now, how Malik found her embodied fear, she'll never know. Now she must retrieve the forces to stop Malik for good. Pride of spilling his blood didn't matter anymore. She was now going to save the world from him with a different intention in mind. But fate would have much different plans for both of them.
Wait, so does this mean that she was supposed to be the what's it called, the
She was the
Amaterasu
chosen
reincarnation or something like
I
this?
don't know. Don't ask me. Oh my gosh.
I think KWCs even heard of Yamato Takaru when he was writing this.
Yes, I have heard of it, but I did not understand it like I do now.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it,
Yeah.
but again, I did not I watched it, but I did not understand it until recently.
Now, how is he gonna form Utsunui Kusugami with like the other third light in a giant lion monster?
Yeah. Yeah, what's the plan here?
Good grief, I don't know.
Lion Utsuno Kusagami. Confirmed.
Man, that'd be nuts.
That's just Gun Caesar.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Okay. Black Moth burst forth from the underground chasm into many layers that led her down there. In the second of her arrival, ready to take flight, Maguma tackled her with his mass. His misty white orbs shot at her with an aggression she had not seen before. Is he freed? Her thoughts would be confirmed as the walrus impales the feline's wings with his tusks, moving with an animalistic grace. And this time she wasn't going to get away. Though as hard as she could try, her first sign of demise came when Maguma tore the patched wing out of its socket and removed the short flesh that attached the wings to the body. With a squealing cry of hopeless agony, both the beast and the human mind could only scream. Tossing the feathered wing out of the way, the mammalian bit down on the flying mammal's neck. His dagger-like fangs pierced her hide, with the tusks delivering a painful blow. He kept crushing you to the point where his tusks went through the other side of Black Moth's neck. Soon after long and excruciating flails and panting, the winged beast was no more. Instinctively, Maguma turned and placed the wrecked, burned body within the acidic lake. With herself decaying and slowing down, it was enough for the acid to eat away the body, brain, internal organs. A holler of victory bellowed from Maguma, who has inadvertently saved many lives, or at least delayed the inevitable, albeit unintentionally. Sensing the tinges of evil in the air, Maguma appeared at the hole his former opponent came out of. Something was sleeping there, with the capacity of great destruction. He followed his gut and began a long fall into the pit. So he just, jumped in there?
Yep.
Like thousands of feet to the ground?
Yep.
Okay.
You know, YOLO.
You only live once.
Yeah, he's gonna body slam Orochi and like stab him through the heart with his teeth. The momentum will carry him. Malik felt ruined and his facade broke once again. Alone in his room, looking at the wall of monitors, his heart was hurting. Truth was, he was always felt a connection with Kroiga, but he did what he had to do as necessary for the best of his plans. This would have been easier had Kroiga been obedient to his will, even after he explained to her when she awoke as the monster. With her strong spirit retaining the body, she sought revenge, so he had to use her. But now it was all for naught. He had to consider another method luring his pursuers to him until a massive thump echoed throughout the chamber. It doesn't matter now, I thought. Pulling his APC 025, he gave the final order. Release Orochi. There was no turning back now. This place would be no man's land, with the behemoth serpent awakening from his drug-induced slumber. Orochi exited the room to abandon the facility and leave on the black shark. The doctor showed one last glance as a special picture inside his desk. He drew it out and held it next to him. The picture had that of a man and a woman. Both were considerably younger than they are now. He was a captain at the time, she was a sergeant. Memories flooded back to him, recalling all of their precious times together, even before he changed. Dr. Malik Hastings kissed the image and set it down on the flat surface of the mahogany desk, leaving the past behind him forever. Winner, Maguma.
Winner, Orochi. Alright, oh my gosh.
Oh, wait. Did Maguma just commit suicide?
Low-key committed suicide. He's gonna try and fight Orochi.
But he won, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, did you finally see
I
it?
just saw that. Oh man. Oh.
I know it's not standard protocol for the committee reads, but please put this in the video.
I will. Oh my gosh. Oh,
So, when like the Yamato Takeru person comes now, is he gonna be reviving a person or a big cat monster?
I don't know. Good God.
Susanoo opens up the coffin and it's just Black Moth.
This match is certainly a coffin. I cannot deny that.
Yeah, if Maguma doesn't implode on impact with the ground, he has to fight Orochi.
No, he's gonna implode upon hitting the ground, and his tusk is gonna fly out and stab Orochi in the heart.
Is 2 hearts.
Yes.
He's got 2 tusks.
Oh man, he has that ultra instinct from Shin Godzilla match.
Yes, that's what's gonna happen.
Oh, I remember after like 153 came out, I hated this match so much. Oh, I remember hating this one so much. But now, like, I can't hate it anymore. I can only laugh at it for trying to be match 79, ending up as a worse version of match 150. That's exactly what would happen there. Good gosh. Ugh.
I would tend to disagree. The 150 and this match are different. I mean, they have similar issues, but I think the core of the problem lies with some other problems.
That is true.
But,
Like a lot more of the very blatant inconsistent. I don't even know. It's so inconsistent to what you do to a regular prose. Does it become consistent in of itself when most of it is present tense? That's it. I will address this issue, which I think will make sense. There were some points in the narration were meant to be dialogue. They were highlighted as italics, but for whatever reason, whether it was Tyler or Anthony putting it up, the italics was not retained, so the internal dialogue mixed in with the narration, which like some I can only remember some of the lines like stupid, 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 stupid. That for example would have been all italicized because that would have been her internal thought. So that did not help in the case of this reading. Good gosh, without a doubt my worst match, but it was also my first written match. So,
actually, that's kind of funny because we had the same problem. I know a similar issue happened with 164 with the blatant question marks.
Yes, yeah,
because that got copied over and a similar issue occurred.
Mm. So, oh man, this one broke my mind from all the problems it has. It's like, good gosh, to fix any of this would just be mostly scrap and rebuild. Good grief. Oh my gosh, I could feel my edgy past persona rearing its ugly head, and it's like, the banner is undeserving because it's too damn good.
Yeah, the banner is really good.
Oh my gosh, it's the best part of this whole match is the banner. But I promise you, what lies behind the banner is garbage. Oh my gosh.
So, do we just want to go one by one?
Sure. I mentally need to rest from this right now. I want everyone here to rip into it. Gray Shot, what'd you think?
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna. Okay, so my first. I have two big problems with this match. My first one is this: what is the story on paper? The story on paper is simply this, right? This is the story. Black Moth wants revenge for what Malik did, so she goes to find him and runs into Maguma.
Right. That's
the story on paper. What we get is everything is detailed. Everything. Every detail that you thought about this base is given, and it just compounds and compounds and compounds. And my biggest issue with the match is these things aren't, could be good, but it's just too much detail. It's especially in some segments, it's a wall of text that is unneeded. Descriptions are not only described, it's double described. Like, we got the long toothed seahorse. Like, what is that? No. There's too much description for this. Sometimes you can over-explain something. This is what I feel this match is. This match is over-explained. And because of its over-explaining a simple match, like, there is no depth there. You're over-explaining you're over-explaining a kiddie pool.
Yes.
Again, I could overlook the grammatical errors. Like, I will say this: I would rather have a match like have grammatical errors 100%. I like have errors here and there than to be constantly just trudging through description after description after description.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that is entirely reasonable too, because it feels like I'm overcompensating. It's like, it's such a simple thing, let's make it complicated. It's like, it should have been just simple.
Yeah, there's some good details in there, like Malik looking at an old picture of him, and like, there's good stuff. It's just weighed down by a lot of other things. So yeah, excluding those things, again, I don't hate this. I don't abjectly hate this. It's not terrible, right? It's not like the worst written match ever, but it has the opposite problem where it is too much detail, and you there are some matches that are poorly written I would not read again, but this has the opposite issue where it's a okay match, but it's so dense that I would never go and want to go back and look at this again.
Right.
Again, good stuff in here. It's just overshadowed by a mountain of detail, and I think that can kill people. I think that can turn people off more than just a little more than just how do you say? I think that can turn off more people that bad grammar is less of a turnoff than something that is dense.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I can see that. Huh.
But I guess GDR, what are your thoughts on the match?
There is good stuff here. There is good stuff with, well, Kroiga and Malik. But the issue does just become there is so much stuff here combined with the constant tense swapping and grammar issues and the constant feeling that for this match you just flipped through a thesaurus for every other word. It just turns into white noise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really even have too much more to say, just because I can barely recall this match, because it feels like nothing happened and everything happened at the same time.
No kidding.
Because, yeah. And there is just... And on the actual, like, plot thing, it is a major plot hole, the fact that, like, you have... That apparently Black Moth is supposed to go out and gather the various military forces of the world, somehow, despite being unable to talk and barely being able to control herself.
And despite the fact that he has been protecting the island and the barriers, and it's like, huh? What? I don't know.
And the fact that Malik wants her to do this instead of, I don't know, doing something he can control to gather them there?
Yeah. What the frick?
Hey, maybe just send out a YouTube video.
Exactly. Yeah, that would have been so much easier. Oh.
Yeah, like send a video to them, or like accidentally let slip something off like satellite photos or something. Not sending out a big lion in the hopes that she will somehow manage to lure all of the various mechas and anti-kaiju ships over to the island instead of just getting blasted apart.
Oh my gosh.
Especially since he gave her a serum that made her more animalistic. Don't forget that.
Yeah, it's all so counterintuitive in the poor man's effort to be a magnificent bastard and then failing miserably. Oh, golly. Oh.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Kaiju just like, the issues your matches have, all of them are here and magnified without, like, the good things that overshadow them in your other matches.
Right.
Like, in your other matches, like, there's issues with grammar and tense swapping, but, like, the story and the action and what's actually happening overshadows it so well, but not here.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's clear to say, because, again, to reiterate, this is my first written KWC. Minus the Zone Fighter 1, minus the Godzilla vs. Fire Rodan 1. This is my first written KWC that I actively submitted to the site. And I think it becomes clear when you read this compared to even, say, 153. 153, I'd argue, is a big improvement by a good bit. Despite some of the same... like, some of the issues there are not as glaring compared to here. And, yeah. I don't... There's a lot here I wish I could have done better. I wish I could have captured more of the spirit of the original characters, rather than being edgy McEdgelord and just ugh. Yeah, I know. It is easily this is easily Baby's first edgelord match, and it shows.
Yeah, Kaiju, like, your matches from like 170 to 275, they are flawed gems. This is just a lump of coal.
Pretty much. But yeah, freaking just, yeah, no, any hate launched at this match, with the actual match, is well deserved, personally.
Yeah, I don't feel bad, like, making fun of this match, just because I know that you are making fun of it harder than...
Yeah, no, totally.
Anyway.
It broke my mind reading it. It's like, is this real? I feel like I got dumber as the whole thing progressed. Yeah.
Again, Kaiju, you're one of the best writers the KWC has, but not here. Not here,
Not
bro.
back in 155. With a banner that's so good, though.
Womb room.
Jeez Louise.
Chocolate-colored walrus.
What was it, like big tooth seahorse?
Oh
or something?
yeah, mammoth tooth seahorse or something. Good grief.
Yeah, one minor issue I will also confirm with that is, yeah, especially in this one, you have a lot of different, like, I understand using different words to describe different things, like I get that, but like there's also a point where it's just like, okay, brah, there's like 5, you over describe the kaiju to a point where it's just like,
Oh yeah.
That's why I said like it felt like you were thumbing through a thesaurus.
Yes.
yeah, every word was like, okay, I don't want to use Maguma again, even though like it's fine, you can use it again, just maybe space it out like every other sentence. But you're like, no, I'm gonna do it every other paragraph, and then every other paragraph is like,
Yeah, it feels like, especially with descriptions.
8 sentences long.
Yeah, no, it feels like every description I have when it comes to describing monsters is like, look into the source, get every word that describes every single bit of their characteristics, and go. Rather than just the mammoth beast, it's the mammoth tooth walking seahorse. What? What am I describing there? What the heck?
A seahorse, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is madness.
Yeah, totally.
Such madness. I'm so glad I've come so far from this. Golly. What the heck? My brain is dying right now. I need something more intelligent, please.
You're probably not going to get it.
Not here, no. Oh, goodness me. Hey man, what kind of walkie-talkie did Dr. Malik use? An APOC 25. Hey, cause that's important. Could have just said walkie-talkie and left it to the reader's imagination. No, you're not allowed to have an imagination, readers. It's my world. No, APCO. I'm sorry, I spelled that wrong. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Did you have anything else to add, GBR? Or...
No, just the GIF I posted.
Yeah, that's legit. I can't post GIFs, but it's basically Buzz Lightyear jumping down and bouncing up on the ball.
Yeah, that's good.
Nagoda, what'd you think of 155?
Well, this was a mess. A fun mess. Like all like the different thoughts Black Moth was having, like all the background stuff. Apparently she has the spirit of Amaterasu because she's seeing visions of Orochi and everywhere, which is gonna be awkward when she gets revived by like this wild spirit guy later on. And this is gonna be like, if you make a sequel to this is gonna be interesting to see.
No thanks. No thanks. Good grief. I do not want to know what a sequel to this is like. Oh, the original sequel was going to be Orochi versus Maguma, Zone Fighter, and C-Rex.
So I wonder what Maguma's plan's gonna be when he's like falling all the way down towards Orochi right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised Maguma just didn't leave. Because it's like, hey, he's free. He's allowed to do what he wants. There's that dark pit full of evil. Leave!
Yeah.
I'm so tempted to write a parody KWCE of Orochi versus Ultra Instinct Maguma.
Do it.
Yeah.
Please!
Do it, and make sure you include like Black Moth being revived by the
Yeah.
guy as a big winged lion.
Ultra Instinct Maguma. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lordy.
Also, I like how Malik's plan was to have her go get like the military. When his plan was to get her to get the military, but he put so much things against that by, one, putting her in a big giant flying lion body, two, giving her a drug that makes her animalistic instincts come out more, and three, not giving her a voice.
Jesus.
Oy vey.
Oy vey. Oy vey.
Oy. Oops.
Uh,
That was something.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was
The
rich.
banner looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the banner's great.
It's the
The banner's
Oh,
great.
yeah,
The match
100%.
is
Jackson
the
Morris
best.
did a phenomenal job on this.
yes, he did. It captures the spirit and the tone of something of the Showa style perfectly. I wish the match was the same as that banner.
What do you mean? It matches the match perfectly. Don't you see, like, all the Black Moth trying to think but can't speak, trying to tap in Morse code right now? Maguma staring blankly.
Don't you see Maguma getting ready to confront the god of the underworld?
Yeah.
You know what? Match 55 doesn't deserve to be read here. It should have been on the Saturday morning reads.
Like, Kaiju, you wrote Maguma, who is just a walrus that showed up, a reptile walrus that showed up in Gorath for no reason, as being willing to be like, yeah, square up, god of the underworld. Let's go, bro.
Oh my freaking gosh. Good grief. Oh. I'm gonna read something from a Discord comment. Kroiga says, I've come to make an announcement. Malik is a bitch ass motherfucker. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Holy shit. Oh, this is way, way too funny. It's at least I don't hate it anymore. I'm just laughing at it now because good grief. It tried so hard to be Tom and failed miserably. So I'm just glad I started developing in my own direction after this, cause but so Ditto, what'd you think of the match?
I mean, I got lost a few times. It's something. It's a lot of words, a lot of paragraphs. It's very long.
Very thick.
Yeah. I mean, there was some parts that I liked, but I would have to say, yeah, there's like plenty of flaws. And then Maguma just jumping down thousands of meters into a pit
into the womb,
with a moon deity.
into the womb room.
Yeah, the womb room. Yeah, it was something. I think you've definitely improved a lot.
Thank you.
And I agree, the banner is like the best thing about this. It looks really good.
Oh yeah.
Do you know who made it?
Jackson Morris.
Or remember?
Jackson Morris.
Jackson Morris. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's good.
So I remember this one had to be upscaled a little bit because it was a lot smaller before, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. That's about it. Not much else.
I'm not even sure what else I can say. This match broke my mind reading back through it. And you know you're truly terrible when you go back through something old and just it breaks. So much of it does not make any sense. It's like if the plan was to have her tell the world, which again you could just upload a YouTube video and done that. It's so much of this does not make any sense, and all in an attempt to be artsy and it's too much artsy bullshit in this match. Too much attempting to be self-aware, thinking, oh, if I'm self-aware, magnificent bastard, and Deus Ex Machina, then that's a good writing technique, right? No! Don't do that! It's worse. It'll make your thing a lot worse. Unless your narration is specifically structured to be self-aware. It's like, no, don't just do that. I have very little words to say on this match. It is easily... It is my first match, and I think that is going to show. It's my first match that tried to impress too much. Like, oh, let's make it more complicated than just the simple premise of a giant winged lion fights a giant reptile walrus. It's like, no, it tried to be more than what it was, and that ended up being its greatest downfall. So... too many ways to improve it, because it would basically just require to scrap and rebuild. Because, woo!
Yeah.
So, but, with that said, this has been... Well, okay, does anybody have anything else to say? Or...
No.
Alright. Alright, so with that said, this has been match 155, and we'll see you guys next time for match 156. Till then, everyone.